Hello, students. A very good morning. I hope that all are fine and safe. So, now, Standard 6, Social Science, Unit 2, in History, Great Thinkers and New Faith. So, this is the second unit in history. So, the learning objectives in this lesson to learn the causes for the rise of new faiths in the 6th century BC. To have knowledge in the teaching of Mahavira and Buddha, to know the similarities and dissimilarities between Jainism and Buddhism, to understand the differences between Hinaya and Mahayana Buddhism, and finally, to know the influence of Jainism and Buddhism in Tamil Nadu. So, this may be a new words like Buddhism, Jainism, all these things. So, we are going to see them in detail in this lesson. Let's begin. Intellectual awakening. The 6th century BC is regarded as an important period in the history of ancient India. As a landmark period in the intellectual and spiritual development in India, historian Will Durant has rightly called it the shower of stars. So, you know what is intellectual brilliance and what is spiritual? It is about the faith. Okay, sources, that is the literary sources, Angus, that is Jain text, Tripitakas and Jatakas, which were followed by the Buddhist text. Causes for the rise of intellectual awakening and the birth of Buddhism and Jainism. So, now we are going to see where this Buddhism and Jainism started. So, like previous lesson, we are going to see this unit in two parts. So, in first part, we'll see one heading, and the second part will see the second heading. That is the first head. The first part is going to be the rise of Jainism. Let's begin. There were several reasons for the rise of new intellectual awakening. Some of the exploitative practices that paved way for new faith includes the complex ritual and sacrifices advocated in the later Vedic period. So this is also related with the last lesson. So we saw later Vedic period, megalithic period, all these things. No. Expensive sacrificial ceremonies, superstitious beliefs and practice that confuse the common man. Upanishads taught as alternative to sacrificial rites were too philosophical, which a lay person could not understand. Slavery, caste system, gender discrimination also contributed to new awakening. So, what are the new awakening is the complex rituals which were followed, then the expensive sacrificial. You know what is sacrificial? We saw about this in the last unit itself. Superstitious beliefs. So they'll be believing in supernatural power. No, that one. Upanishads were taught as an alternative to sacrificial. So sacrifice, you know it already. So this Upanishads were practiced as an alternative for sacrifice. Slavery, treating people as a slave, then caste system, gender discrimination also contributed to a new awakening. Origin of Jainism. Jainism is one of the world's oldest living religions. Jainism grounds itself in 24 Tirthankars. A Tirthankara is the one who revealed religious truth at different times. The first Tirthankara was Rishabha, and the last one was Mahavira. Jainism gained prominences under the aegis of Mahavira during the 6th century BC. The original name Varadamana, place of birth is Kundagrama near Vaishali, which is in Bihar. The parents Siddharth and Trishala, place of death Pavapuri, Bihar. The word Jain derives from the Sanskrit word Jina, which means conquering self and external world. Mahavira, the great hero. Varadamana meaning prosperous. You know what is prosperous means? Living with full healthy and wealthy atmosphere. A Kshatriya prince. However, at the age of 30, he renounced his princely status to adopt an ascetic life. He undertook intense meditation. After 12 and a half years of rigorous penance, Varadamana attained omniscience or supreme knowledge known as Kevala. So, omniscience means it is the ability to know everything or be infinitely wise. So, this person, Mahavira, he is also called as the great hero, Varadamana. So, he is from a Kshatriya prince. So, he has gone for 12 and a half years of meditation. So, after 12 and a half years, he attained omniscience. Omniscience is nothing but the ability to know everything. Okay, and he has gained this type of knowledge, which is also known as Kevala. Thereafter, he became Jina, meaning one who conquered worldly pleasure and attachment. His followers, called Jains, Mahavira reviewed the ancient Shramanic tradition and came up with new doctrines. Therefore, he believed to be the real founder of Jainism. So, with this, what is the conclusion they are coming is, so Varadamana, who's been called as the great hero, that is the Mahavira, he is the founder of Jainism. Unique techniques of Jainism. So, the techniques which has been followed uniquely by Jain people. Jainism denies God as the creator of universe. Basic philosophy of Jainism is ahimsa or non-violence. So, Jainism, they denies, they believe that God is not the creator of the universe. The basic thing is they believe in ahimsa or non-violence. So, this is the same word you would have known, which will be uttered by Gandhiji. Ultimate aim of Jainism is attaining moksha or ending the cycle of birth, death, or rebirth. Jains reject the belief in last judgment, where God, a supreme being, decides who goes to heaven or hell. As I told you previously, they don't believe in God, so they don't believe in the judgment day also. Jainism advocates that the goodness or the quality of one's life is determined by one's karma. So, what they basically believe is, they believe in the person's fate is decided only with the karma what he does. What is karma? The belief that a person's action in this life determines the quality of his or her later part of the current life and the next incarnation. So you know what is that means. So karma means what all he does in life, the good or bad thing. So that decides this the man's life. Triratnas or three jewels. Mahavira exhorted the three-fold path for the attainment of moksha and for the liberation from karma. They are right faith, right knowledge, and right action. So moksha, you would have known this word moksham. Okay, that is to exit from this world. Okay, from this human being. You have to when you die, you will be going to the heaven or hell. They used to say no, forgetting moksham. So these three things to be followed. Right faith, you have to have a faith in something which should be correct. Right knowledge, you have to gain the correct knowledge. And right action, how you behave. What is moksha? Liberation from the cycle of birth and death. As I told you, when you die, you will be reaching some existence, right? So that is called as moksha. The next page. Jain Code of Conduct. Mahavira asked his follower to live as virtuous life. In order to live a life filled with sound morals, he preached 5 major principles to follow. So, here the code of conduct, what all should be done in life. They are ahimsa, not to injure any living being. So, being non-violence or hamsa, ahimsa. Satya, to speak the truth. Asteya, not to steal. You should not steal. Aparigraha, not to own property. Brahmacharya, celibacy. So brahmacharya also we have already discussed about that. So what are the 5 things which to be followed in Jains? First thing is ahimsa, satya, atsaya, aparigraha, then brahmacharya. These 5 things should be followed to be a perfect person to follow Jainism. Gautama Swami, a chief disciple of Mahavira, compiled the teaching of Mahavira called Agama Siddhanta. Digambras and Svedambaras. Jainism split into 2 sects. So in Jainism itself we have 2 splits. First is Digambaras. Digambaras are orthodox and conservative followers. Monks of the Digambara sect do not wear any clothing and live naked. They are forbidden to have any kind of possession. Digambaras believe that women cannot achieve nirvana or liberation directly. So we have 2 splits in Jainism. The first one is Digambaras. What they will do, they are the orthodox conservative followers. So these monks will be living naked. So in this Digambaras, they believe that women cannot follow this type of Jainism. Okay. Swetambaras. Swetambaras are considered progressive. Monks of Svetambara's sect wear white robes. They are permitted to have Rajoharna, broom with woolen thread, begging bowl, and a book. Swetambaras believe that women are equally capable of achieving liberation. So, what is the difference between Digambaras and Swetambaras is in Digambaras they won't accept women because they treat women, they feel that women cannot follow the instructions. So in Swetambaras they are allowing women to follow these things. So here in Digambara they won't be wearing clothes, they will be moving naked, but in Swetambaras they will be wearing white color dress. Okay. Reasons for the spread of Jainism. So what is the reason for spread of Jainism? The following are the main reasons for the wide acceptance of Jainism in India. The first thing, use of people's language, intelligible teachings, support from ruler and traders, perseverance of Jain monks. So these are the four reasons of spreading Jainism. Influence of Jainism, that is Samanam in Tamil Nadu. How it has got spread, influence which has got spread in Tamil Nadu. In ancient Tamil literature, Jainism is referred to as Samanam. There is a Samanar hill or Samanar Malai in Keelakuyiladi village, 15 kilometers away from Madurai. The images of Tirthan The images of Tirthankaras created by Jain monks are found in the hill. It is a protected monument of Archaeological Survey of India. In Arittapatti, a small village 25 kilometers away from Madurai, on one side of Kalinjamalai hill, there are Jain caves called Pandavar Padukal. Pandavar Padukal is the bed of Jain saints. There is a reference to Arvar Palli, place of living for Jain monks in Manimegalai. Manimegalai, it is a literature. So this is how the spread or the influence of Jainism which spread in Tamil Nadu. So in Tamil literature, this Jainism will be referred as Samanam. So mostly in Madurai places they were having, some places they were following Jainisms. Okay, so next page, see the places here: Tirupati Kundaram, Sittana Vasal, and Chittaramalai temple. So these are the big sculptures of Jains. According to Silappatikaram, when Kovalan and Kannaki were on their way to Madurai, Kaunitiyathigal, a female Jain monk, blessed the couple and accompanied them. So you would have seen in Silappatikaram literature. So a female person, monk, Jain monk, will be blessing the couple, that is Kovalan and Kannaki. Puhar, Urayur, Madurai, Vanji, that is Karur, Kanji, all had Jain monasteries. Jina Kanchi, Tirupati Kundaram, a village in Kanchipuram, has two ancient temples. This village was once called Jina Kanchi. So these are the places you can see the sculptures which is showing that the spread of Jainism in their places, that is in our ancient Tamil Nadu. Okay, so the next topic is going to be Buddhism. As I told you, I'm going to stop with Jainism here. So here we saw what is Jainism, what was the origin of Jainism, and what are the two splits in Jainism, and what were the influence of Jainism in ancient Tamil Nadu, and what were the techniques followed in Jainism, and how they treated people in Jainism, how they treated women, what are the difference between male and female in the splits of Jainism. All these things we saw in this first part. So okay students, so with this I'm winding up the video. I'll see you in the next video which has Buddhism. Thank you students. Stay home, stay safe.